You've heard of old Grincho and Rudolph the Red, but have you heard of the boy with dirt for a bed? In the long fields of winter the legend is told of a small scruffy boy under 4 years of old. The lad's name is Field Boy. He was 1 inch tall and had never a penny to spend at the mall, nor parents, nor presents, nor fill-a-maloos to fill up his stockings and sprinkle his shoes. Yet by his side was a fat flue-fly bird, a clumsy old fellow who flew most absurd. For these reasons clear, and because he was plump, the big goofus bird mostly sat on his rump. Now Christmas is modern, and Christmas is new, and a capital market demands expenditure too. A present's the thing to tell one that you care. To be careless on Christmas would be most unfair. Material goods, like a coat, cape, or glove. If there are no presents, there just is no love. Though the boy couldn't read, his heart was quite wise, and he knew he could earn his bird friend a prize. He bantered with tree stumps and bartered with mice, but the noodled result was a handful of lice. Despite all his gumption, his plan went awry and produced no results for our little field guy. Old Mr. Claus is what our friend needs, a patron of Christmas and repentant thieves. Maybe his plan would work out if he pleaded to Saint Nick of the North for just what he needed. All dreary-ridden with no prospects or socks, he let out a sigh and sat on a box. U.S. Postal Service was scrawled on the lid, with thousands of letters addressed to Madrid. "Snanta!" he screamed, spotting the stamps which adorned all the letters written by scamps. He ran to the dumpsters and did such a caper till he had all he needed to write on stained paper. "Dear Smanker," he penned most articulately, "want present real bad and want it for free." His diction was sound, it was refined and proper. "For bird from Field Boy," pleaded the pauper. Many days later, and miles above, Santa's good sleigh flew alongside a dove, which carried a message at the base of its beak. So an elf looked inside, just to take a quick peek. "A message, my sire," the elf said with a bow. "It is urgent, dread Sultan, you must read it now." Santa's wise eyes glittered, they gleamed with good joy, for he was to hear wishes from a good girl or boy. There were thousands or hundreds, until now they were hid, and most of these letters were addressed to Madrid. "Careful, fierce warlock," muttered the elf, "one doesn't appear written by a child itself." "Ho, how," said the big man, "how could that be? Pass over the letter, I'd like to see." The elf's hand was shaking, it twitched and it jumped. The big man frowned, for now he was stumped. On this grimy old paper, scrounged up by our boy, was no exclamation of holiday joy. And though the boy's friend deserved a Christmas surprise, he had chosen to write using squashed-up old flies. "Oh, Kringle," said Santa, "oh, eggnogless eggs! These shapes on the paper all swirl in my head." "It's poison, my tyrant!" the elf cried out in despair, snatching up the boy's paper, which took to the air. The north wind bellowed, and the letter did stray. "Merry Christmas," said Santa, perplexed in his sleigh. Many miles away and many miles below fluttered down the letter in gentle white snow. "Mebbe Crumbus," said the field boy from his soft sleeping hole, as he stumbled all out like a star-bellied mole. He ran to the nearest tree, ready for spoils, but spotted it empty of boxes and foils. "Huh?" said the field boy, scratching his knee. Maybe this one was not a true Christmas tree. So he looked up on high before looking down low. An arborist nightmare, for no gifts did grow. 100 trees searched, and 100 trunks bare. The field boy's big heart felt Christmas despair. Christmas was ending. The boy's eyes were blurred. This year he had let down his good friend, the bird. Field boy moped on his walk back to home, and left his sad mind to drearily roam. He looked at the hole where he would normally sleep, when from out of the air he heard a fat cheep. Field boy fell over out of holiday fear, and to his surprise, what was that he did hear? The sound was his bird pecking bugs off the ground, from the letter he'd sent, St. Nicholas bound. Now, field boy, the field boy's bird pleasantly chirped, love makes a present, not extrinsic worth. These old bugs have filled my tummy and heart. They are gifts from a friend of whom I never could part. Bird and boy shared a smile on this Christmas day, and field boy conveyed one last question to say. How splendid, my flue-fly, but how can you talk? I can't, said the bird, with a happy old squawk. The boy grinned ear to ear, and grinned cheek to cheek. The bird grinned wing to wing, and grinned beak to beak. And where once all was ruined, they embraced some hugs. Who knew merry old Christmas only cost a few bugs?